Hey everyone, Catch 'em All Collectibles here. MetaZoo Saturday. We've got another video. Is this the last MetaZoo Saturday video? Will we ever have another one? I think we will. MetaZoo is dead, right? Or is it? Who knows? In that announcement they made that has since been deleted, socials went down, socials came back up. I like dealing in certainties, objective realities, facts. There are a lot of other channels out there making a lot of MetaZoo content. A lot of it's being consumed. I don't really want to get into the speculation. I don't have any insider knowledge. I never had any advanced notice of any of these things happening. Shout out to Nick Strength and Pokemon. He's been doing a lot of videos of the various 4chan leaks, potentially the DMs with certain individuals that may or may not be those individuals. I just don't want to get into that. So what this video is going to be, you got Robot Dan here, dealing with what we know. We seem to know very little. I'm going to talk about what I liked about MetaZoo. Maybe this is wrapping up my business's story of MetaZoo. The intent of this channel is to take you along and chronicle my journey through this cardboard adventure that I'm on. And MetaZoo was/is a part of that, right? I was a MetaZoo partner for the last 3 sets. If you didn't watch it, go watch my live stream from Wednesday. Absolutely crazy. Some of the things came out that I enjoyed from MetaZoo, and I shared all that. I pulled a red ink, 1 out of 250 boxes. The chase that MetaZoo afforded some people, the unique box styles, the unique novel idea of tying characters from the public domain into an IP, making an IP around the public domain. That's memories were created, friendships were made, things that I really enjoyed over the past 2 years. From a business, pure dollars and cents, MetaZoo was not the greatest endeavor by any stretch of the imagination. Opportunity cost, the amount of time that I spent doing business in MetaZoo, that for that time, some of it was great. I mean, I found my own niche, carved out my own niche, mass box breaking and supplying singles to the little bit of a competitive scene that they had there for a while. I probably had cards in winning decks at pretty much all the tower events they had because I was breaking 10,000 packs of those sets. And I enjoyed it. The opportunity as a business to be the only one or one of the few in that area, I was making a much higher hourly rate, given I had a lower cost basis being a partner than buying it wholesale, buying it at direct partner cost. And so much less competition. I mean, there were many cards that in Pokemon, the equivalent card in Pokemon, would sell for 5 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents on TCG Player. I was selling them for $2 to $5 on eBay. When you're buying each pack wholesale, or not even wholesale, direct, for $1.25 to $1.50 per pack. There was great margin there. In hindsight, as with Pokemon, I profited throughout the endeavor in product. I didn't really take out money as money. Similar to 2014 to 2020, I profited. I rolled my Pokemon inventory into a larger Pokemon inventory. I did that with MetaZoo. At the end, it didn't pan out as well. That said, though, back to the business, back to the facts. The fact of the matter is that MetaZoo was dealt some kind of a blow on Monday. Even in that announcement, I feel like people, whether that was Mike, whoever that was, it was on an official account, the official Discord account that they communicated throughout the entire period. It said in it, I'm actually going to pull it up so that I'm not like completely trying to misremember or anything. But yeah, let me get the actual announcement up. I probably won't put it on screen, but it says, unfortunately, that era has passed, and faced with MetaZoo games can no longer continue to exist in the current economic and collectibles markets. It is my hope that MetaZoo can continue on as an IP at some point in the future under new ownership, and I look forward to that day. So it sounds like MetaZoo Games as a company is ceasing to exist. It sounds like something is open there. MetaZoo can continue on as an IP at some point in the future under new ownership. Whether a sale happened, again, tons of speculation, tons of videos, tons of theories. I'm not going to get into that because it doesn't do me any good, right? It's once new information comes in, I will take that. I will run that through the algorithms and calculations, and then I'll make a decision on what to do moving ahead. But I'm not going to make drastic decisions based on rumors. So Another thing that was also stated that I've been hearing thoroughly in the rumor mill, more information will follow and will be communicated via our Discord channel when it becomes available. So it was not stated like it's over, it's done, bye. It was stated in this form, it's over. Hopefully it will, under new ownership, continue to some extent. So they're clearly trying to sell to some extent, just based on what they said. Not taking too long of a leap there. And more information will follow. I mean, they've said a lot of things that haven't ultimately happened, so maybe that's a lie too. But I hope not. I hope we do hear more. And I'm in the time being, as a business, again, that's what this video is going to be about. What am I doing today? What did I start doing Monday? Given in light of this new information, given that war may not be coming out. I've been saying very recently, as soon as my MetaZoo wrap up the year video after their announcement, where they talked about making the payments and all the whole roadmap for 2024, it feels like it's thrown out the window. So what am I doing now? Taking stock. Before MetaZoo's closure, before this announcement on Monday, I was getting kicked out of Troll and Toad Evo. There's been slight developments on that. It is now February 2nd as I record. February 3rd, if you're watching the day this comes out. Last I knew for Troll and Toad Evo, I was going to have to be out of there by February 1st. If you navigate your way over to Troll and Toad, where my Evo items are for sale, you will find some items with my name on them. I've been extended for some unknown amount of time. Maybe Troll and Toad Evo will not have died completely. We'll see. But my initial thing, going back to Troll and Toad Evo and why I'm talking about that to begin with in a MetaZoo video, I had hundreds of boxes of MetaZoo. They discontinued all my singles. They pulled all my singles. They won't sell them any further. They stopped carrying Magic. They sent me all my Magic back. They stopped carrying MetaZoo singles. They're sending all my MetaZoo singles back. All my sealed, I priced drastically low. At the time that I made my adjustments to Troll and Toad Evo to try to blow things out that final week, I lowered a lot of my prices 25 to 50%. On MetaZoo, I went even further on some of it. Maybe Wilderness and UFO boxes were selling in the 30s very slowly. I priced mine in the 20s. I priced mine at a discount. Troll and Toad charges shipping and not free shipping on there. Potentially sales tax depending on where you live. But anyways, I had so much MetaZoo on site and I was already getting so much Pokemon back from Troll and Toad. I really didn't want additional MetaZoo back from Troll and Toad. So before I knew of the whole closure, before I knew of this whole announcement that came out Monday, I slashed the prices on all my MetaZoo. I had sold 100 plus boxes, probably, I think at the time, and I timestamped it basically with my, if you go back to my Troll and Toad video, there's a document, and that was what I had. I think I updated it one time a few days later, so maybe some sold in between. I want to say I had about 150 to maybe 200 boxes of MetaZoo at Troll and Toad at the time. And I think they're all sold. I think every single one sold. Further than that, once the news came out Monday, it's funny because prices went down on a lot. And I did slash my eBay for most MetaZoo 40% or so because I really want to clean out a lot of the excess. I want to... There was a lot of stuff actually right next to me. I have a bunch of blisters that I went and I just listed on eBay. I had too much product of MetaZoo that I had never even gotten around to listing. That was why my focus, my plan for MetaZoo into 2024 and beyond was to shift back to just main sets only. And that was the plan. I was trying to sell off all my Pin Club, try to sell off all my blister, all my non-booster product because it got to be too much. I couldn't keep up with Pokemon and that. So my MetaZoo was really my MetaZoo plan for 2024 was and is to really lean out on what I have, take good stock on it. I did an inventory. I did an inventory on that Monday. I had about 500 boxes between 2 Kickstarter up to about a dozen, maybe 10 to 20 Cryptid Nation First Edition, and then the peak. I don't have it right in front of me. I think the most I had was 10 cases of UFO, 120 boxes, and then Native was around 60, and Nightfall was around 60 or 70, and I want to get. And I'm almost there. Record sales week for MetaZoo. Record aside from like the native release week, the seance release week, the UFO release week. Those all did really well too. But volume-wise, number of boxes, number of like singles, Pin Club stuff, a couple graded cards. the amount of MetaZoo I sold this week, I filled my average day going to the post office with Pokemon, MetaZoo, everything combined is a fair bit through the eBay vault, which is fulfilled by them. Maybe 20 slabs, maybe 20 shipments, a couple odds and ends, 18 slabs on any given day. I'm going to the post office every day with like a bin, one of those bins that the post office has and gives you. I took 2 carloads today. I took 1 carload to UPS. I took 1 carload to USPS. 3 massive boxes. I barely fit them with the car seats and stuff in my SUV. Unbelievable. The amount of people reaching out to me, whether they're trying it for the first time, because now it's a dead TCG. Now it fits in their collecting wheelhouse. They only collect dead ones. Maybe it's, hey, it was always on my radar. It was on my radar because of you, because of whatever else. It's $15 now. It's $20 now. I decided to buy a box. So they did. Some people are collecting it. Some people are enjoying it. Some people who were into it all along, stocking up on it. Some people might be speculating, investing. I'm not really speculating, investing on it. I am intending to sit on, I guess it's speculating to some extent, right? I intend to sit on, because I don't really need the capital. It's not a significant enough amount of capital for me to just fire sell it all. Liquidity-wise, if you needed the capital today and you have MetaZoo, probably wise to like move it on because the eyes are on it. If an announcement comes out that they were sold, like things could go up from here. So maybe, who knows? You're never going to know exactly when the optimal thing is. But what I'm using this time to do is to like consolidate, take stock on what I have. I might actually go back into the market and buy a little bit of Cryptid Nation First Edition. I would like to have, I mean, if I can get a Kickstarter box sub 500, I think 2 went. One at 450, one at 400. I think one went at 700, 750, somewhere in there. If I could get one more to get a third Kickstarter box, sub 500, I might take that opportunity. If you have one, reach out. But yeah, other than that, I don't want to add Native, Wilderness, Seance, Second Edition, UFO. I have enough of those. I have about 4 cases is about where I want to be. I'm going to put them in deep storage. Deep storage. Wait and see what happens. If they go to 0, it is what it is. I worked for less of an hourly wage than I could have, but I had fun. I had fun doing it, and it was something different, something to mix things up. So no regrets whatsoever. I've enjoyed my time. I've made a little bit less, fair bit less than if I had been engaging in Pokemon. Hindsight, it's easy to Monday morning quarterback. Someone tell me. Again, my 4-hour live stream, I went into so many rants and so many things. This will just be like a microcosm of what that stream was. I have Bitcoin. If I had navigated MetaZoo optimally, I could have made 6 figures. I'm sitting today on Bitcoin that's probably worth low 6 figures. Should I sell it all today? Should I keep it? Is it going to be $1 million in a few years? Is it going to be 0? 5 years, 10 years? It will be obvious what it did in 5 or 10 years, but we don't have that hindsight. And some people will go back overconfidence in this space, overconfidence in life in general. When the outcome ends up being what you thought it was going to be, people think like they know exactly what's happening and what's going on, and then they take bigger risks, they make bigger plays, and then it ends up going bust on them. I knew like this was a potential outcome always. This is a potential outcome for Pokemon within my lifetime. This is a potential outcome for MetaZoo, Lorcana currently, or MetaZoo, One Piece, Lorcana currently, and people just don't realize that. People won't take this as like a cautionary tale. People will just like assume that their thing can't be touched, and they'll be right as long as they're right. Right? It's always obvious in hindsight, and the amount of people who called this as this will be failed within a couple of years, they're vindicated, and hopefully they know that there was a chance that it went a different way, and people that are so confident in One Piece Lorcana, hopefully they know, and hopefully they plan for that, whether it's a 0.1% chance. In the case of Pokemon dying within 2 years, 0.101% chance. I think Pokemon will outlive me, but there's always a chance that something goes wrong, and there's always a chance. This stuff is inherently speculative. This type of collectible, you need someone to buy it from you for more down the line, and whether there will always be someone down the line to buy it from you for more, it's not a certainty. It's not a certainty whatsoever. So yeah, my plan with MetaZoo is to trim down to where I have my singles. I still have all my singles listed. They're slowly selling. Again, like even this week, after slashing the prices 40% or something, Some of the singles are selling for cards that in Pokemon, given the rarity, given equivalent rarity, there are cards that are selling this week 10, 20, 25 bucks that in Pokemon would be dollar cards, 50-cent cards, 25-cent cards. There are still, again, collectors, investors speculate. I have no idea what these people are, what they're doing with it, but they're selling. Some amount are selling. And if it comes back, what's going to happen? This red ink that I pulled, I have offers over $1,000. Am I crazy? I know I'm kind of crazy. I'm a gambler. I have a memory. This is attached. I'm going to keep this card probably. I'm going to keep this card. I've turned down 1,200. I've turned down 1,500. And for now, I'm going to keep holding that bag. So as far as my samples go, I have some on eBay. If people want to take them for what they're priced about 40% less than they were a few weeks ago, that's probably as low as I'm going to go. If you're really, really interested in anything, feel free to hit me up. I mentioned in the live stream, and maybe I'll do some kind of a more formal post. Maybe I'll just do a listing on eBay. If you want play mats, if you want deck box, if you want theme decks, bulk. Actually, I was shocked. I sold like 60,000 native bulk. I opened 10,000 packs, so I have over 100,000 bulk. But I sold like 60,000 bulk of native. Not for a whole lot. Relative to Magic, I sold it for a lot more than Magic bulk goes for. I sold it for dang near what Pokemon bulk goes for. So this stuff is moving to who, for what reasons, I don't know. But this sales week was insane. At the time that I did the live, and at the time that MetaZoo died, closed, whatever, I was probably in the black, netted 10 or 20 grand in MetaZoo. Nothing too significant. Now that this week's over, I've sold another few grand, towards 5 grand probably, between selling down those couple hundred boxes in Troll and Toad, between selling down a couple hundred boxes, going from 500 boxes to about, if I do 4 cases of every set, 6 sets, roughly 300 boxes. Roughly 300 boxes is where I want to be long term. That's less than a pallet. I can stash away half a pallet to a pallet somewhere and just time capsule it. 5, 10 years, 20 years, see where it goes. So that's the plan. That's the plan. Sell through all this supplemental. I see a Revive box over there, Revive Wilderness, some of these NFT exclusive things. And if MetaZoo were to come back, I mentioned in my live stream, and I mentioned at the start of the year, I'm probably only in, to any great extent, partner pricing. If Bandai buys it, if whoever buys it, and it's only, if it's wholesale, and it's 75, 78, 80 bucks, if I'm buying Pokemon at 90, 95, and I'm buying MetaZoo at 80, I can't really justify going that deep into it. Partner pricing, I was paying 56. It was a lot easier to pay 56. And still, there might be, like, the EV on those boxes when I was doing the mass rips early on, some of that was logistical, getting native before most people did. The EV on some of those boxes was obscene, and it could have still made sense if I was paying 75 or 80. But combination of not having the time, if it's after the summer and I'm back to working days, I could have the time potentially, but I probably just won't go very deep. If I get it through my distributor and I'm able to pay $7, I might buy a case. I might buy a case to try a little bit and see what it looks like and just experience it. But it's likely that the only way I would continue to do the mass rips the way that I was doing them is if I have a leg up. And if MetaZoo is being sold, here's our partner list, and would the new people partner with the old part? Like, no idea whatsoever. So I'm not like getting too stressed out about it. It's once new information comes, solid, firm information, not 4chan rumors, not like once new information comes, I will take that information. Maybe I'll make a new MetaZoo Saturday video and we will reevaluate. But as of today, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. So yeah, look, if you are one of those hate watchers here, still here 19 minutes ago, you probably already disliked and left. Please tell me. It was so obvious. You're a guru in all things. You are so smart. I'm so dumb. What do I do with my Bitcoin? Do I sell 100K in Bitcoin today, take my profits, pay taxes on it? Or am I going to be a millionaire in 5 years, 10 years? What do I do with all my One Piece allocations? Currently, I've been taking and selling them onto the market immediately. I sold all my OP05 at about $2,000 to $2,100 a case. So I sold those at less than $200 a box, and they peaked at $300 a box. I think I had 4 cases sealed, 3 or 4 cases sealed, and then I had like 8 to 10 boxes loose. It took me longer to get to selling the loose. I'm looking over there because I have 1 extra damaged loose box. But I hear rumors of reprints now. It's like all these gurus, all these savants who knew exactly what was going to happen with MetaZoo. Tell me what to do with my One Piece, because I sold some too soon. My Evolutions, I mean, even Evolutions. I paid off my house with Evolutions, and I largely sold it too soon. I made over $100,000 flipping Evolutions into the market. I didn't sell any $1,000 boxes of Evolutions, maybe a couple loose ones. Most of my cases were sold. I think I did a video some time ago, and if I didn't, maybe I'll do a case study video on Evolutions. I navigated it fairly poorly relative to having Monday morning quarterback hindsight. I made $100,000 when I could have made $300,000, $500,000. Who knows? Like, the amount of cases that I churned through in that 1 year, 18-month span was absolutely mind-blowing. And the amount of cases that I had on hand, I mean, 20 cases when they went to, I mean, I was selling quite a few $4,000, near $5,000 cases. I don't think I sold any one singular case for $6,000, but I think at the peak that's what they were going for. Mind blowing what that was, and people will say things were obvious and I knew and this and all that. Once it's over, once the dust is, and it's easy, very easy to say. So yeah, let me know. Let me know, because I haven't figured it out yet. If I had done MetaZoo perfectly, I would have hundreds of thousands of dollars more. If I had done Bitcoin perfectly, I would have millions of dollars more. If I did Pokemon perfectly, I would have $1 million more minimum. Like, not even buying more, just selling what I had at the perfect time. Clicking send all the auction from my PWCC vault at that perfect time. But not selling the Japanese, because I had to keep the Japanese until May of 2023 or June of 2023. And I had to sell all the WotC in October of 2020 to October of 2021. And you're never going to hit all the tops. You're not going to get stuck at all the bottoms either. You're going to have the occasional MetaZoo. You're going to have the occasional. And again, I made money in it. I took money off the table to the extent of what I was buying. Like, I was getting my product for free, essentially. I was taking enough money out to keep it free. I bought some of these boxes at $1,600 and sold some at $5,000, $6,900. And I think the two boxes I have $1,000 into one and about $1,500, $1,600 into the other. And today they're about $500 to $700. If I had done them perfectly, I would have sold them both at $9. But it's like, you're not going to win them all. You're not going to hit them all. But I'm doing the best I can. I'm having a good time. And that's what it's all about. And don't get too overconfident, but try to learn. What did I learn from MetaZoo? I mean, I think I navigated it fairly well. Perfect navigation would have been to sell it all at the absolute peak, but you're never going to have that. But I definitely learned that it was smart of me to take money off the table and to not go all in on credit, not go all in. There might be people out there, and I feel for these people. There might be people out there that are financially ruined over MetaZoo. People that were speculating in it, gambling in it, spending more than they could afford to. Everything I do in cardboard is after my 401k, my IRAs. All those baskets are filled. No consumer debt of any kind. No debt of any kind. No mortgage. No student loans. No nothing. And that's why I feel the safety of like having this be my job and having my livelihood come from such an inherently speculative market. I feel a lot more comfortable doing that because all my other ducks are in a row before I play in this arena. And yeah, hindsight, buying the $16,000 4 sample pack lots from Rusty. I just the one thing, like to give myself a little bit of credit there. I opened one. At the time, as crazy as it sounds, and I remember having this conversation with Rusty. He's like, I won't go much cheaper, because if I go much cheaper, I may as well open them. And I had the thought, it's like paying $4,000 a pack. At the time, had the grades been good of those cards, it could have been plus EV to open those sample packs. I opened them. My holo was dinged. My holo Wendigo was dinged. I still have that somewhere, I think. But yeah, so at the time, paying $16,000 for those, it was a prospect that I could have opened them, graded them, sold them, made a little money. Didn't pan out, didn't go that route, got wrecked on the first one I opened, being damaged. So hindsight, definitely the biggest thing I learned, the biggest thing I took away, and I try to do this more and more in Pokemon. I say it all the time too, and I didn't listen to myself in MetaZoo. I got caught up in buying as a consumer. I do this as a business. I'm buying with pre-tax money. I'm buying with business money. I'm not paying sales tax. I went on a big rant with that during my live stream. buying with pre-tax money, buying with what that means essentially for anyone that wasn't there for my rant. If you work a normal 9-to-5 job, say you make 100,000, you make 100,000 gross, say you get taxed, say ultimately your take home 75 grand, not your take home pay, what comes in your paycheck, nothing to do with withholding, your actual net take home pay on your income after your tax return, after if you get a refund and all that. If your effective tax rate is like 25% and you're making 75 grand on your 100, if I put 100 grand of money into product, I'm doing that with business money, cash basis versus accrual basis. We don't need to get so deep. But if I put in 100K, that's pre-tax money. That's business money being put in. That's not like 100K of salary that I'm paying 25 grand in taxes on and then buying product with it as a consumer, then paying 10% sales tax. I live in upstate New York where my sales tax is about 9%. So if you're fighting that big of an uphill battle, being in this space with intent to profit, by definition of the IRS, if you are intending to profit, you are doing a business. If you are doing a business, buying items intended to resell, which I am, I'm going to resell it all someday, right? So long-term inventory. If you are intending to resell, you should be operating as a business legally, and you should not be paying sales tax because you are intending to resell. So what I was getting here with this whole rant, with this whole preface that I was just doing, I got to where I was buying as a consumer, not... I was set up as a business. I was using pre-tax money, not paying sales tax. So I was doing those portions right, but I was spending money where I didn't have an advantage. I was buying stuff on eBay. I did have the advantage of pre-tax business money, no sales tax, but I was buying at consumer rate. When I was a partner, my first 50 grand I spent in MetaZoo was all spent before I was a partner. When I was buying $56 partner boxes, that was a lot less risky, inherently less risky. When MAP, that whole MAP thing, that whole history, with MSRP being 140 and MAP being 112 and this and that, when you're buying at 56, it's just inherently a much safer spot than when you're buying at 140, 110, 112, 80, whatever number. When you're buying at a lower number, it's inherently better and safer, especially when it's a number not everyone has access to. When I buy Pokemon, that for right now, with Scarlet and Violet and some of these sets being cheaper to the consumer than they are to the distributor, the retailer buying wholesale. But generally speaking, when you're buying a product wholesale, when you're buying it through a partnership program, you're just getting in at the ground floor. And the ground floor down to zero is a lot less of a fall, right? So that first 50 grand, that first 50, 60 grand I spent on the sample packs and Bigfoot samples and all these different things, I don't really do that in Pokemon. I buy collections at some percent of market, and I split them up and I optimize them by grading them, bring them to the right platform. So I buy under market and I sell at or above market. I do improvements to the items. I grade them to get big numbers and to make big multipliers. In MetaZoo, I was buying in situations where I just needed the number to go up. When you buy as a partner for 56, when you buy as a retailer through Pokemon for 90, you don't so much need the number to go up. You just not need it to fall. You need it to not fall too much from MSRP, from retail, from general market prices, right? So what I was doing, the biggest takeaway, and what I intended to do already for 2024, what I did do for most of 2023. 2023, I bought native because I was a partner. I didn't buy Kuromi because I was listening to myself. I was following my rules. I didn't buy Legacy, even though Legacy never came out and no one ever got it. I am only going to buy, whether it's Pokemon, whether it's MetaZoo, whether it's the next big thing, I'm only going to buy it if I have an advantage. I'm going to buy it at some percent of market. I'm going to buy it as a retailer. I'm going to buy it as a partner, whatever it may be. And if I don't have an advantage built in from the start, I'm not going to touch it. All these Kickstarter, there are actively Kickstarter TCGs that have funded $1 million+. I have no advantage. I guess the one thing you could say is, like, if you're getting in on it during that 30-day window, you have the advantage of, like, that's the ground. Like, those things are like, oh man, $100 a box plus. Like, there's not much of an advantage built in there. So I'm not going to interact in any of those. If I start talking like I'm going to buy something without a built-in advantage, tell me. Hit me in the comments. Tag me somewhere. Tell me, bad Dan, don't do that. Don't do that again. That was my biggest mistake in MetaZoo. it wasn't being a partner. It was not buying $56 boxes. That was not a mistake at all. That did very well. If I separated out that first 50 grand of speculative nonsense, basically all the work I did as a partner was catching that back up. Was getting back, because I made spreadsheets 2 years ago. I was negative 50 grand. I was 70 grand in purchases with only 20 grand in sales. I was 50 grand net into MetaZoo. And had I only started buying it once I became a partner, it would have been it still would have ended this way, right? It still would have ended it with this announcement and with the products all going down a bunch. But it could have been 50 grand better. Say I made 20 grand as of today. I could be plus 70 grand. I could be looking at a pretty good hourly rate. But yeah, that's my whole rant. I didn't know how long this was going to go, but it had to be good for 30 minutes. So moving ahead, I'm going to sell down to where I have 4 cases of each product. If I ride that all down to 0, I'm going to be the captain going down with the ship. I am going to only get back into interacting with MetaZoo. I will allow myself up to maybe 1 case if I'm getting it wholesale, but not like sub-wholesale partner. So I will allow myself to do a little bit, but not 500 boxes, not a pallet. My orders for UFO, Seance, and Native were all about $50,000 each. And promos. Did I mention this at the beginning? It's been so long. It's been 30 minutes. I am still buying these back. 20 bucks. Nobody sold any. I sold 100 at $19.99. There's 2 grand right there. I got back almost $1,999. If people want to sell them back because MetaZoo's done and over with and gone forever and maybe bought, but maybe not, I'm buying them. 20 bucks a piece. No one sold any back yet. I'm going to release 50 more soon. They are off-site. They are underway in their new, they're getting some work done. So yeah, those will be a thing. I am going to raise the buyback price at some point, waiting on some different things for that. We'll see. But yeah, I appreciate everyone watching. MetaZoo, it's been a great ride. There should be more videos in the future. At a minimum, I'll talk about this in a live stream if it doesn't end up being its own video. There will definitely be a little bit of talk with respect to this. This is fun. MetaZoo was all fun. This was fun too. I have good memories. Hopefully more will be made. But if not, it's been a fun ride. Appreciate everyone watching. I will catch you all later.